And we are back.
Welcome. So what are we talking about today, Mike?
Well, are you not going to do the intro? We're just welcome to Rubberducking Podcast.
That's right. Well, welcome back to Rubberducking Podcast, everyone. I am your host, Charles.
I'm your co-host, Mike.
Yes, and now we're officially back.
There we go.
Yeah, today I just wanted to talk about, I guess, the importance of community in a way.
Okay.
It's kind of like dear to me, like very personal to me as well, because like when I came to America, like I was placed in a foster care home, right, which is a community, right, and I mean, even before that, I was placed into a like a resettlement agency, right, which was a community, and they actually held this a family night once every month. So the entire the agencies, like kids, like foster kids and juveniles, and all of these kids would gather together.
Wow.
And we would actually have dinner once every month, and like we have the opportunity to connect and update each other. And like foster care home was a community, right?
Yeah.
And also like my church friends, regardless I liked them or not, it was still a community, and it kind of like gives you a sense of like belong or
absolutely belonging. Yeah,
belongings, right? And that leads me to like after I came back from South Korea, right? Basically, I don't have a community right now. And I was actually, so when I came back from South Korea, I was staying with my girlfriend at the time, and eventually came back in the February of 2019 to America. And basically I have $0 in my bank account, and I don't know where I'm gonna go. And eventually I went back to my friend who was from North Korea, the one who introduced me to driving school.
Yeah.
And she plugged me into a church.
Okay.
Right? So she plugged me into church.
Was that a Korean church?
A Korean church in San Jose.
Right.
New Vision.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, New Vision Church.
I think it's a big one, right? I think it's a big one.
Really big.
Church,
yeah. It's like over 5,000 members.
Dang,
yeah,
wow.
So
that is a
pretty
huge
big.
Church.
And one of that church member actually offered. Well, no, one of that church member, right? She knew a friend who was running a church from the house. Okay,
like a house church. Yeah,
right, house church, right?
Yeah.
So I I'll tell you where I'm going with this later, but
sure.
Yeah, so it was great, like having a sense of like, because especially when I came back from South Korea without any money, and I don't know where to go, and I feel like I have no friends, I feel like I have no belongings, right?
Yeah.
But now, like, my friend introduced me to this church friend, and church friend introduced me to the house church, and then eventually it actually led me to live in this people's house, right? Which is basically a church.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
okay.
I was really grateful, right? Because
I bet.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay for the first month or two.
See. Wow.
So you can actually work, right? And then when you earn money, you can pay us back.
Oh, I see. So they're actually providing you a place to live so that you can go find a job, not that you would have to work for the church. Is that right?
Right, yeah.
Oh, wow,
so
that's very nice.
I'll be paying rent.
Right.
Eventually. It's very nice thought, right?
Yeah.
And then eventually, so I did move in, and I didn't have to pay rent at the moment. It was very nice of them, and it was very kind of them too. Like they would cook food, right? And then they would feed me too,
Wow.
And then like maybe 3 days later, it's how it's like the Korean parents almost, right? It's like always like,
We're
parenting.
Like an older-ish couple?
Yeah,
okay,
older-ish couples, and like the advice is coming from a good place, right? But sometimes it could be overwhelming in a way.
Yeah,
it's
I know
always
exactly
just it always like, oh, you have to do this, you have to follow that, you have to do this, you have to do this, and in order for you to succeed, you have to do this and that.
Yeah, and I think for a little bit of context, it's very common in like Korean or maybe even Asian culture in general,
right?
Because there is a social hierarchy based on age, and older people, of course, out of the goodness of their heart, they want to give their youngsters advice.
Yeah,
but it's not just an advice like take it or not. It's more like there's more pressure to it than that, right? Especially if you're, under their care.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So I'm living under their roof, right?
Uh-huh,
and
right.
I am in an extreme pressure to find a job. And I also wanted to find a job
Of course,
as well.
yeah.
Like personally, like I need to work. I need to find a job. So like I'm going to Starbucks, like, for like a week or two, I've been going to like, I wanted to stay home and then, do job hunting, but, at that church.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very challenging. Reason one is because, 새벽 기도, right? So every single day, I was waking up at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then we're doing 새벽 기도.
Right. So it's morning prayer time. I think it was more common in even United States, like back in the days. It's still common today in Korea. So
in United States,
I think not in United States, but in Korea. In Korea, it's still very common. My mom, I think, still does it.
Right?
When she can,
yeah,
right?
새벽기도, yeah.
Yeah. So like you actually go to church at like 4 a.m. daily to pray. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they asked me to do 단식기도.
Oh wow, fasting too. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I understand it's a custom, right? It's a church custom, and sometimes like I do too. Like, I mean, one meal it's okay, but whole day fasting for whole day, I'm I can't do it.
Wow, but I can imagine there was probably some pressure, or even if they weren't necessarily pressuring you, which I'm sure there was a little bit of it, but like you now feel like you're obligated to because you're living with them. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a lot of pressure. Pressure's everywhere. Pressure's all around.
Yeah. Right.
And then I go to like coffee shops and I was trying to find jobs, and I did found one out of desperations. And it says account manager, at Vivid California.
So I'm like, just what you're looking for,
right?
Is that right?
Yeah, it's like I need money.
In the name.
and then like in the job descriptions, like you get like you get commissions, and based like on top of your commissions, you're gonna get like a weekly bonus, Well, I was like, oh my gosh, let's do it, right? And then I applied for the job. I got accepted the next day.
Dang.
And then they asked me to come in for an interview.
After they accepted you?
Yeah, after they, it's like, it's like, you can start work, but can you come to the interview first, right?
Okay.
So it was not an interview. It was like training. And then it was kind of like a brainwashing.
Well, I mean, at this point, did you know?
I did not know.
You did not know.
I did not know that it was a... Okay, so for the listeners, right? I gave you guys like a spoiler last week or previous week that I was working for a pyramid scheme. I didn't know that I was working for a pyramid scheme until I got out of that company, right? And then I was like, I thought about it, and I was watching like TV shows, and like, oh yeah, I learned that watching it through a The Office.
Oh no, really?
Yeah,
Jim explaining
I was
pyramid scheme to Michael.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that's right.
I actually, it's more like it's Michael drew it out on the board.
And then Jim stood up and then just like went like this, and then that's the pyramid scheme. I was like, what? Anyway, right? So I go in, and then essentially what it was is this company founded by an Indian guy who was actually doing this, right? He was doing this kind of like work for a while, and then he got, he made more money because he's been like, recruiting a lot of like people under him.
So he did well under an existing
pyramid scheme.
And he started his own?
And then he started his own called Vivid California. And then he started selling Xfinity. Internet, right? So Xfinity hires this consultant, basically a consultant, to stand at Walmart and Best Buy, right, and stop people and say, hey, do you have Xfinity, or do you have like a internet, right? Do you have an internet, or do you have a TV service? Can I ask you, like, how much do you pay for it?
And if I remember correctly, this location that you were doing the sales job at, this Walmart, was in Fremont.
In Fremont, that's
correct.
The
one next to the overpass.
That's correct.
On Stevenson Boulevard.
Yeah.
I lived in that town, so there's a good chance. Although I don't remember running into Charles, we may have seen each other.
Yeah, we may have. Yeah,
because I went to that
met each other.
What year was this?
2019.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a good chance.
So 2019, I would say from like.
Wow.
Yeah, it would have been from March to July. Yeah, so for good 4 months.
My home was probably like 5-minute drive away from that Walmart.
Gotcha.
That was my main Walmart. So
yeah.
wow, we almost met.
Yeah, yeah. Because I stayed in Fremont too, and then like we would always go to that Walmart and then sell Xfinity.
Wow.
And essentially, right? So I would stop people, and then like I gotta tell you, like I learned great skills, right? Like people skills.
Oh yeah.
Right, because like you basically have to stop a lot of different people to like sell. Basically, what it is that, well, here goes the Xfinity sponsorship, but so basically, you want to sell them more products at a cheaper price for 1 year, and then when the contract ends, it triples what they currently pay, right? So let's say that they're paying internet, TV, and the phone, and they're actually paying like $200, right, per monthly, or $400 monthly. We add a security on top of that as a bonus, right? If we sell security,
Xfinity security,
it brings down, because like a package, right? So it brings down the monthly bill to about like $120.
Wow.
Right? But 1 year later, after the contract ends, like it goes up to like $700.
Can't people just cancel it?
You can. Yes, you can cancel it. Yeah, you can cancel it. But the idea is
people
that
just forget it, or just like we already have it installed, might as well. And then
and also here's the thing too, like people really don't care, right? It's like it's always like me selling this, right? It's like me selling like phone, internet, or
so
TV.
Short-term gains kind of blinds them.
Right,
to
right.
Fine print. Okay.
Right. And also, like, we didn't really care if they sold it later on. Right? It's more of like, oh yeah,
I see. That's right, because you get your commission and whatever the kickback from Xfinity.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. So it was really fun, but again, you get $300 a week bonus, right? $300. So if you don't make any commissions, if you don't sell anything, you make nothing besides that $300 in that week.
Oh, so you don't get paid by the hour or anything?
No.
Oh.
It was just $300 bonus. I don't know. I think it might have been illegal.
Okay. Huh. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Maybe like I didn't read entirely.
So
right?
You didn't even get the minimum wage if you didn't sell anything?
I did not.
Okay.
No, I did not.
Is it okay, Charles, for you to give us a little bit that pitch? Do you still remember?
Oh yes.
Like how did you sell this?
Yeah. So hi, can I ask you a quick question? Or I don't even start with that. Hi, I know you are busy, but can I ask you a really good question?
Okay, sure.
So do you have internet or do you have a TV at home?
Yeah.
Oh, what do you use?
Oh, I don't know, AT&T.
AT&T? Oh my gosh, so we have Xfinity. So if you get internet and TV, you get for like $50 for internet.
$50?
$50 for internet.
Wow, I'm paying $75 right now.
Yeah,
okay.
see, so come. Like let's let me show you.
Okay, how does this work?
So
what's the catch here?
It's not catch. It's not catch. There is no catch.
Okay.
There is no catch. We just I just want to help you.
Oh, okay. Wow. So that's how they get you, huh?
Yeah, so it's basically, right? So one thing that I remember is that like whenever you're trying to stop people, they will say, "Oh, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I can't.
Right,
I can talk to you." So first thing, preemptively say, "I know you are busy, but can I talk to you for a second?" Right?
Okay.
And do you have an internet at home? Right? If they say, "How much do you pay for it?" Right? And if they say, "Oh, $75," oh, then we have $30 internet.
Oh, wow.
Right? And the goal is that everybody has internet, right? Everybody has internet.
Yeah.
And the goal is to actually sell TVs and the security.
I see. So the whole package and all the add-ons.
Right. So add-ons. So that's the goal. And if people already have TV, then you want to sell security on top of that.
I see.
So the catch is that I bring you in and the bill's going to be lower. Right. And that's what I believed while I was working there. It's like I'm truly helping people.
So the people working there didn't even tell you like the bill's gonna go up in a year?
No.
Wow. Okay.
No.
Wow.
I found out. I found out while I was working there. I stopped people and I asked them, "Do you have internet?" And then that person told me like angrily, "I got stopped by you guys last year and I got home security. And now I can't even cancel it because if I want to cancel it, I have to pay for a cancellation fee."
I see.
So they were very mad at me. And it's like once or twice, it's okay, right? But we go to like Best Buy and Walmart in within the North, like around like Fremont area, right? And also like South San Francisco area.
Oh, okay.
And when I go there enough of times, like I see the same people over and over again.
I see.
And like like it like those kind of thoughts like speaks to your conscience. Right, speaks to your conscience. So it's like,
so it wore on you.
It eventually did,
okay.
yeah. And eventually, what I realized was that the community that I was in, this is it's like rottening community. It's
wow.
yeah. It was, and also like okay, eventually, right? So I was working there, and I couldn't sell anything for first like couple of months, and then I didn't make any money.
Wow.
Right, and
That's
day after day, I would come back to this pastor's house. Right, and I'm eating their food for free.
Yeah,
and I'm not paying rent. And they were really nice about it. Like, it's okay, take your time. It's okay, it's fine. Like. And then one day they sit me down, and then, you gotta get out.
No, they didn't give you a warning?
They did not. Oh. It's like, yeah, my son is moving back, so we need you to get out.
I see. Wow.
And I mean, they surely know, like, I have no place to go.
Right, but yeah, their
and
son,
they didn't even give me like enough of notice. Like, at least give me like a month notice. But then like
it was like the day of.
Like, okay, I came back home, and then I don't know, maybe like they have some kind of like a han metoso to me.
Oh, maybe it's been kind of brewing. They're pretending to be okay, but they actually weren't okay with you just like mooching off of them for a while. Okay. Do you know why the son was coming back home all of a sudden? So for all you know, it just could have been an excuse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, I mean, I have nowhere to go. Like, where do you expect me to go? Like, it's pretty late too, and
like they were saying, okay, they sit you down and like, you have to move now.
Not right now, but like like you gotta move out like tomorrow.
Oh,
it's like,
wow.
And also like it's like I don't know. I haven't looked at it where to go.
Right.
It's like,
you need some time to prepare. For that. Yeah.
And also like I was keep telling them like, I think what might have happened is that like. I told him like, like I'm dressing in all suits, and then going to work every single day, and they think that I make a bunch of money, right? And then like I'm not bringing anything back, basically.
I see.
Maybe that was kind of like what they're assuming, but I'm not really sure.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Who knows?
And eventually, like the relationship kind of like broke off, and then I ended up moving in with the boss of this guy.
Now you're one with the pyramid.
Yeah, I'm basically became one with the pyramid, and like I'm getting up like at 6 a.m. every single morning and going to this work, and then
oh my goodness,
it was chaotic. It was very chaotic, and
can't catch a break.
Yeah, and one thing that I realized was that like the importance of community, like I don't know, it's like I know people like wanted to help me in a way, right? And like I don't know, it was I feel like I didn't end up at a right community. It's like it's so interesting because like the Korean church community that I ended up in, it was always resulted in the same like way of either they're getting disappointed or me getting disappointed, and kind of like
right. I mean, that's why I kind of struggle. I mean, in a sense, this seems almost too simplistic, but the way I kind of think about this is similar to my little dilemma of like if somebody comes up to me and asks me for like $20 or something, or like, a bus money. And like on one hand, like it's my moral obligation to help other people, right? But I also have no idea whether this person claiming for a bus money will actually use that responsibly and in a sustainable way, right? Is this like right? Like, am I? First of all, they might misuse it, right, for alcohol or something,
right?
But even if that's not for me to judge, like, give men a fish, teach a man how to fish, like,
right.
If I'm gonna spend $20 anyway, like, what's the right way to spend that? And I think in a sense that a lot of people have goodwill, like they really want to help other people, and they open up their home. Actually, my in-laws have done this too, and it does not quite turn out as you think it would, or as in the success stories, right? It's like, oh, we let this person in and they started a company, and then they're like, now we're helping this part of like growing community. Like that is a rare success case, right? In most cases, the people who need help are under-equipped. They're not as well connected, and they get scammed into the pyramid scheme. And now that becomes, part of at least your moral, like it pushes on you, on your conscience, whereas on the people who are giving help. And then the people who are getting help, they feel, guilty, or for whatever reason, or could lead into, further troubles. It's really messy. And I've seen that happen before.
Yeah. And it would have, I guess, like, it would have been like clear if there was like a clear communication, like expectations of like what you want from me, and what I wanted from them. Like if the communication was clear, then that might have helped as well.
Yeah, and
also I think it's kind of like in a way like a lifestyle as well. Like for me, like I don't know, it's like I could do it like once every in a while, but every single day. And also Maddie was like my wife was in South Korea and was in a long distance relationship, and I wasn't mentally in a good place.
I see.
Right? It's like so it's while I was not in a good mental state, and I don't have a job, and I have all this kind of pressure, and I'm going to a job and making no money,
like literally
$0 right now.
That's crazy. Okay.
And then like they're asking me to leave, right? So it was I felt like I hit the rock bottom. Right?
Understandably so. Yeah.
Yeah, and at one point, my wife, who at the time girlfriend, she basically raised money for me. At
so
like
sweet.
her church is like, hey, my boyfriend is going through this tough situation right now.
Wow.
Like, can we do something about it? And she collected like $700 in South Korea and have sent it to me, and it meant like the world to me.
Of course, that's amazing.
And then eventually, so and then I got out of that house, and then I went in to move with this the pyramid scheme, the boss, and man, it was really tough. Like my mentality is just basically needing to sell you this, right? And like basically when you see people, like it turns into like dollar sign.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it must have been particularly, conflicting, because you've been on the other end of that with the dealership guy who his eyes turned into dollar signs.
Yeah, so and then eventually I was like, I can't really do this anymore.
Well, you're a good person, Charles.
I tried to do that, and I did actually sell, a few of the, like a few of the internets, mobile phones, and sorry, the landline, internet, landline, and TVs, and eventually I was like, I can't do it.
Wow.
So
okay. Your conscience spoke to you.
So I ended up moving back to SoCal.
Oh, you did? Wow.
To Long Beach, to Torrance, because while I was working at Liberty North Korea, I and they have Liberty North Korea. Remember I told you about like Liberty North Korea having a intern house at a sketchy place where there was a gunshots every night. And then they ended up renting a really nice house.
That's right.
In Palos Verdes. The owner of that house was a doctor.
Oh.
And he saw that I built the console with the Raspberry Pi.
Oh, nice.
I torrented a bunch of games in the Raspberry Pi, and then I had that little Raspberry Pi, and he saw me playing that game, and he was like fascinated, right?
Really? Okay.
And he was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like when I was a kid,
the retro games.
The retro games, and I would play this game, and you need to have, because I have like 5,000 games on it, like retro games.
Dang.
So he's like, "Oh my gosh, can I buy it from you?" And then I sold it to him, and eventually, like, he asked me, "Hey, can you build a website?"
Oh.
So that was like my
what a connection, huh?
Right, while I was working at Link. And I haven't even really thought about that connection for a while at all. But eventually, this guy was a really, really nice guy. And he told me that I can come work for him. I can build his website, and he's gonna buy me a car.
Whoa!
And also drive Uber
Whoa.
while building his website.
That's amazing.
And then pay for, and he just had a good heart. He just
now
wanted to help.
he's teaching you how to fish. You know what I mean?
Right.
And giving you the fishing rod.
Right. So I guess it was like a mix between a luck, right? And I don't think there was any kind of like hard work component that is went into this. Like me essentially, like going to Long Beach, you know. And
I mean, so like, how did just timing just like mash up such that he, like, as you're trying to move, like he's like, hey, build me a website and come live over here, or like, how did you reach out to him?
No. So we've been like often like keep in touch.
Oh, you kept in touch.
We kept in touch, and then like I was working on his website while I went to South Korea as well.
Oh, so that's been going on.
So it's been the website has been going on. And the mobile app, I also wanted to build mobile apps too. And I think that was in place. But with my knowledge, like the current project that I was trying to work on was too big.
I see.
Right.
Okay.
It's like a personal, it's trademark, but for him, it's like, it's called personalized wellness advisory.
I see.
So basically, it's a woman who are having menopause. Like he wanted to help. Give like a medication.
Was that like, is he like women's doctor or?
Yeah, he's like a family doctor. He's like a family doctor.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, very good.
So he's like, you know what? Come work for me. Continue to build the mobile app. I will help you purchase a car so that you can drive Uber at the same time while you're working on my mobile app.
Wow.
So I was like, amazing. Thank you so much.
Wow.
Like I will love that. So this guy introduced me to a grandma, one of his patients actually. She had this room for rent, and then like I think relatively really cheap too. So it's like $500 or $600,
okay,
which is
really
cheap.
Right.
So after working at Pyramid Scheme for from I think it was March through July, so probably like 4 months.
Wow, but those must have been really grueling months, though, right?
It had been.
I'm sure it felt like a long time.
Yeah, my wife Maddie, she could tell you how I acted. Like I was not happy. I was very grumpy, and I basically turned into like complaining bot.
I mean, you're. Given the circumstances, I think that's totally understandable.
But you see, but the thing is that like I've always had community, like if you know what I mean. Like I had a community, right? It's like somehow I was introduced to like nice people, nice community, regardless of like what the circumstances were, right? It's like either like good community gave me like things that I learn now, right? And bad communities like it's like I should not be there, it's like I should kind of move away.
You still learn a lot.
And I think this is what a lot of different like North Korean because like I've only like met North Korean refugees, right? So I haven't met other countries refugees, but this is what a lot of them actually lack in. It's like the community. Like I have a friend who a North Korean refugee who came to America like 14 or 15 years ago. Like how long is 2007? That was like what? Almost
18 years ago?
18 years ago? Wow.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't speak English. He's working at sushi restaurants.
Wow. Right.
And just continued. It's not bad, right? I'm not saying that's bad. Like sure, like if you find joy and if you find like purpose, like a meaningful like purpose in what you're doing, that's great, right? That's amazing. But at least like American dream, right? It's like that's what we're all about. It's like, hey, like when you come to America, like you need to speak English, therefore you can enjoy the culture and have some freedom in that. But yeah, so it's like it seems to me that like they weren't plugged into the right community.
Yeah, I can see that will make all the difference. Just thinking about that one couple that had a home church. I mean, imagine if they were plugged into charities like the Catholic Charities or a larger community that would chip in for maybe rent assistance or just cooking food
Yeah.
or having some backups in case they
Yeah.
needed some break from having people in their house.
Yeah.
Right? That could have made all the difference between you being able to, or rather, them being able to help refugees like yourself on a longer term, as opposed
Yeah.
to just like one night, you know, it's like, sorry, we can't have you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And after that, yeah, and and then eventually I couldn't build a mobile app anymore either.
Oh no.
Well, I mean, it's like
it's a tall order for one person.
like like my knowledge ran out.
I see.
Right?
I see.
My
Right.
knowledge ran out. I couldn't do it anymore. So I
Uh-huh.
told this guy I can't do it. I told the doctor I can't do it anymore.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, well, that's okay. That's fine.
Uh-huh.
And at the same time, who was my girlfriend at the time? Oh, actually, I proposed.
Oh.
So August, yeah. So
wow.
So I proposed like while that was going on, and I quit my the pyramid scheme job.
Uh-huh.
I moved to SoCal.
Uh-huh.
And then I was working for the doctor while driving Uber.
Uh-huh.
And Maddie, she actually
right.
came back from South Korea, came back home. So I proposed to her. And
wow.
then yeah,
and then she came back because she had finished her master's. Is that
not
right?
yet. So
Oh,
she
not
was on,
yet.
she was on the break.
Oh,
yeah.
she was just visiting.
Yeah,
and
she was just
surprise.
visiting.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
and then
exciting.
yeah, we were hanging out, and then eventually it was like, I want to marry this girl. And then I proposed to her,
Aw.
and I moved in with her parents
Uh-huh.
for like a year, and I was going to SVC. Oh, yeah, I was going to like a community college.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then the COVID started.
Wow.
You know, and I was determined to, you know what, I'm gonna finish, because like I was getting you know, I'm really grateful because like when I came to America I was a minor, right, and then I was plugged into Catholic Charities of Santa Clara County, and they got me this scholarships as well. So it's like they were giving me like Pell Grant, Cal Grant, and I think I still have some money left over in my
for your education. Oh, that's awesome.
So I think I can get master's degree for free.
Nice.
Yeah,
you should
but
do it.
I know. Probably in my 50s. I'll get my master's in my 50s.
Never too late. Yeah.
Never too late for education. And yeah. So I think after proposing, I mean, you know, she still had to go back because she had like,
school left to do.
A lot of school. Yeah, like I think that's like a year left.
Yeah.
And I know COVID was really challenging for, you know, a lot of people.
Oh, of course.
And yeah, it was very challenging for me too, because like as soon as I started school, it's like, oh, can't
now you have to do everything
go
on
to
Zoom
school anymore.
Yeah.
And in a way, like going to school for me was more of like an experience.
And
right?
there you also find community.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was for me, it was it didn't work out. Like I couldn't, like homeschooling. Like I remember like attending like a class over the Zoom. And meanwhile, like I find that it's like it's easy, very convenient, and I can do it, you know, at the comfort of my home.
That's right.
But like the learning settings, like I was preferring, you know, the in class, like in person, like
yeah.
You know.
I mean, there's a reason why after COVID, a lot of the workers are like, wait a minute, the remote work's awesome. I'm gonna keep doing it, but no schools are doing that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a reason for that. I think that there's a reason why schools are the way they are, and the classroom learning that's, you know, that we established for decades, if not centuries. There is value in getting together in a classroom to learn from a teacher, and there's a lot of also human value to it. You know, community again.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're like the social creatures, right?
Yeah.
We are, you know, we're, I guess, made to interact with each other, right? And yeah, like learn from each other and support each other. And yeah, it was, I did not do well. Yeah, and I think I eventually like stopped going to school too.
Oh, I see.
Because like yeah, online class was hard.
No, it was I had so I actually volunteered for a public school district in Oakland over Zoom because it was COVID, and I just felt so bad for students, but also more so actually for the teachers. Like, you can't, look at a student, right? They don't even have their video on. You have no way to gauge their engagement. And even if you have all the intention to want to get to know them and, build that relationship, that giant barrier of not being in the same room was, I felt that even as like somebody who's like helping them answer some math questions. I think it wasn't even like independent study time, and I was there to just supervise. Funny thing is, I had to get fingerprinted for that.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was working with children.
Yeah.
Although I was not near like 30-mile radius of those children.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate the safety, right?
Right, certainly. But yeah, I sympathize and empathize that it wasn't just you. During COVID time, it was hard for everyone. Jess was also doing some school. I think she did okay, but I again, like, felt that, my gosh, like, it's really challenging for the teachers and students.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And nobody was prepared for that either.
Right.
Yeah. Nobody was prepared for what was to come, and not even like, well, certainly North Korea too, right?
Yeah. I mean, who knows what went down there?
I mean, they reported like having 0 cases of COVID. So,
yeah. Well, who knows?
But I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true.
Well, I have a question for you, Charles. I mean, before we move forward to the the modern time, since you talked about or opened the episode talking about the need for community.
Right.
Yeah. So if you go back in time and all these experiences you've had of resettling. Like, what does an ideal community for somebody like your past self, North Korean refugee, what would that look like, right, for people who just landed United States or wherever else in the world?
Yeah, I would definitely hold let's say that, like, yeah, if I were to have a workshop, basically 2 to 3 times a week of going over the essential basic like need for survival
in the
modern era,
right?
Like,
yeah.
the investment, for example, right? It's like,
that's an advanced topic.
Well, I mean, I think it's great that like we get financial support.
Oh, right.
Like,
Yeah.
I get stipends, right? Because,
yeah.
Like, you're a minor, and then like the stipend goes to your foster care parents. Right.
Yeah.
That's when because the American foster care program system works that way. So you volunteer to take care of the child, and the government pays you money to take care of the child.
Right.
And then the child gets no money.
Yeah.
But when that kid graduates, right, but still a refugee in a refugee status,
I see.
Like, they get the money instead of parents getting money, right? And you have to be the one who should learn to take care of the money.
Right. So you as a refugee,
right,
like,
responsible for the money, like responsible to take care of yourself.
Because believe it or not, the schools don't teach you that.
No, yeah, it's interestingly enough. No,
yeah.
So that was really. That would be like my main complaint, is that don't just like hand out money to like kids who don't really know like how to guess be responsible.
I see.
Right, but also at the same time, other the people's argument is that, well, because of that you're here now and you are responsible, right? Right. So so I feel like the most effective way to like strengthen a community is literally, right, like 3 times a week, hold up a workshop, bring kids to the classrooms, and sit them down, and hey, this is like the real life, practical ways of living, right?
Right.
Don't get a credit card.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to get a credit card, make sure in like all these kind of different things, and then get a credit card, right? And then make sure you pay it off. You use like a debit card, or don't buy a car.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, don't
Do
just
not
go,
walk into a dealership,
right,
especially used car dealership.
Yeah, right. And just like teach a man like how to fish.
Yeah.
Instead of giving him the fish.
You know what's really interesting as you're talking about all of this is that part of this is very critical for the refugees, but also these are really good, if not reminders, like also first-time knowledge for American citizens. How to file your taxes, for example.
Nobody teach you that.
Yeah. So I can see how what you're talking about, like the school, right? Institution that's dedicated for, we teach life skills. And I know that sometimes the community colleges and public institutions offer these kind of classes.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not as well advertised. And more importantly, I think that there is no culture, like at least in like the American culture, that people should go attend these classes. I know that like everyone says stay in school, right? But it's like, learn Shakespeare and learn the capitals of other countries, and those are important too.
Yeah.
But like essential life skills are not really there, and I never seen like a parent, in particular, like pressure or being incentivized to teach their children, or not teach their children, but like send their children, right, if they can't teach it themselves.
Yeah.
Like, hey, go learn these things because I didn't know how to do this and I had to figure this out the hard way. Like, why don't you go take these classes? I don't think I've ever seen that. I'm sure it happens, but it's not as nearly as popular as, having to get a good score on an SAT or something.
Yeah. Essential life skills are important, and as just like you say, it's reminder for all of us too. Like recent high school graduates, for example, right, and going to college. Like I guess like they don't really have to worry about like filing taxes, right? Because they didn't
Not
make
yet,
they didn't make any money, but it's a good preparation, right? Because
they might start making money as soon as they enter college. A lot of people do.
And they have to learn these skills at some point. But for refugees, I personally had late start than anybody else.
Right, absolutely.
Right? And because of that, like I feel like, and also here's the thing too, like if you want to help. Like you can't help people who are not ready to receive any help, right? You have to be in the right attitude to help, like to receive help.
Right. And is that something you think that can be cultivated through community?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And with the right settings and with the right right content. I'm gonna say right content. Like they will listen.
I see.
And it's kind of very conflicting to me too, because I have a friend who who doesn't want to get help at all. It's like I am happy where I am.
Really?
Right?
Okay.
Like,
and you see that he has the potential to do better, be more financially stable, but he just doesn't know and doesn't really want the help either.
Not really. It's like I'm happy with where I am.
I mean, there will always be those folks, and I think it is their choice.
Yeah,
we're a free country after all.
We can't make him do
right.
Yeah. So I'll just let him do what he wants.
Right.
And trying to he's happy where he is. Okay. So I'm okay. And I remember a friend of mine was telling me that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. So like your intentions really don't matter. And it's like you want to help them, like go ahead and show it in your actions, like how you want to help them and how you want to do. So
it's hard, right?
Yeah. So I think, but for me, at least personally, what would have really helped is literally having a community and having a workshop of like, here is set of like really life skills that you can learn, right?
Yeah.
Or like here is like things that you can invest in, right? So for example, like for me, it's like, okay, so Charles, right? So so based on the workshops you attended, and based on these things that I've assigned you to do, like A, B, and C, you look like you're graded A.
I see. So some of this like career planning, or finding what they would be, a good fit in terms of the different kind of careers or jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
And therefore, let's explore what's in this A area.
I see.
Right. Instead of like, oh, let's go to high school. Okay, you graduated high school. Then now let's go to college. Oh, you guys at college. Oh, so what do you want to do? I personally, it's like
a little more personalized.
Yeah. Because
and with a lot more guidance, I imagine, right? Then to just go figure it out yourself, right? That doesn't quite work.
Yeah, that was kind of challenging.
Right.
And because of that, I was able to, I needed to work at many different restaurants, right? And those kind of experiences made me who I am today. But still, like if I had those kind of knowledge when I was, much younger, like I could have breathed a little bit better.
Yeah, right? I mean, all those stress and having to worry about like, oh, am I going to be on the streets?
Yeah,
those kind of things wouldn't really be there.
Yeah,
right? Okay.
Yeah. So I think a lot of things can be improved, and one of the things that I also want to do is literally having that kind of community, like creating that kind of community for like future North Korean refugees, not just North Korean refugees, but to like other refugees,
any kind of refugees.
Well.
I mean, we are Americans, naturalized, and we do have the heart for people who are in similar boats. So I'm really glad we're talking about this today, because I mean, it seems that we are now slowly transitioning out of Chronicles of Charles into our podcast, the Rubberducking, right? Like, we were just talking about the issues, and I really hope that the listeners have some insights to share, and would, since we're talking about community, be part of our community. Just send us an email or engage with in social media with Charles, and send us your ideas.
Yeah, that would be amazing, and I'd really love for you to be part of this like a starting community, right?
That's right.
And we also recently started Patreon as well. And hopefully I, want to like share the things that I haven't shared in the podcast, or more like a personal and dear to me, and I know we haven't asked for like money.
I mean,
platform,
I think we are starting to at a point where we need to start thinking about the sustainability of the podcast and the enterprise that we're in. So we're just kind of ideating. We're still kind of putting stuff together, not asking for like big chunks of money or anything like that yet. Not that if you have just a bunch sitting around and want to throw it at some place, this is not a bad place to do so. But we're thinking about these things, and just we want to be transparent about that. Well.
And with that, we are at time. So thank you so much for joining today, Rubberduckers. I hope to see you guys in the next episode.
All right. Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.